say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Gaza, please proceed and lay the report. First order of the day, honorable colleagues, is the third reading of the bill for an act to amend the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency Establishment Act 2006 and for matters connected therewith. Honorable members who recall the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 17 October 2018. Therefore, call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, I rise to move that the bill for an act to amend the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agencies Act 2006 and for other matters connected there will be read for the third time. I so move.
Rules of business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Benue State. I rise to second the motion for the third reading of order number 1 as moved by the Leader of the House.
Okay. Honorable colleagues, the questions of the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is now invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency Establishment Act 2006 and for matters connected therewith. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Second order of the day, honorable colleagues, commencement of debate on the general principles of bill for an act to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act, Chapter N11, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to strengthen the commission and make it more effective to regulate broadcasting in Nigeria and to ensure that all television and cable services run education programs in line with schools' syllabus and curricula, and for related matters. Standing the names of Honorable Olusegun Dokun Odebomi and Honorable James Abiodun Faleke. Honorable members who recall the bills were consolidated on Thursday, 11 October 2018. I now invite Honorable Adebomi to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Odebomi Shegun is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Ogulua Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a bill for an act to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act, Cap 11, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to strengthen the commission and make it more effective to regulate broadcasting in Nigeria and to ensure that all televisions and cables services run education programs in line with the school syllabus and curriculum and for related matter. I so move.
Second, Honorable Faleke, who is a course proposer of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. I rise to second the bill for second reading. I so second.
Honorable Adebomi, please lead the debate. I almost call you Bonvic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Yeah, the bill, like you said, the bill was consolidated. The one aspect was moved, even let me say by the referral of the House to the Committee of the Information, and the second leg was sponsored by Honorable Faleke. So the aspect that was referred to the committee as a result from the ad hoc committee was moved by me. Then I will lead the debate now. The bill seeks to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act Cap 11, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2010, with a view to strengthen the commission to be more effective in regulating broadcasting in Nigeria and for other related matters therewith. Globally, various forms of revolutions have been witnessed, where the first, second, and third revolutions respectively bordered on the use of water and steam, electric powers and electronics, information and technology to mechanize, create, mass, and automate productions in the same order. Flowing from that, the fourth industrial revolution was built on the third one, which was the digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. Consequently, the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, rolled out a digital broadcasting plan to cover 116 countries, mainly in Africa and Europe, including Nigeria. In spite of the many attributable benefits of this revolution, Nigeria has severally failed to meet the switch over target. It was on this consideration that the House, after adopting a motion on the need to investigate the process of digital broadcast switchover in Nigeria, set up an ad hoc committee to carry out the assignment as stated in the prayer. And the second motion accordingly, the committee carried out the assignment and reported to the House for further legislative action in line with legislative practice and procedure. The report of ad hoc committee was considered on Thursday, 16 of November 2017. The first, second, and third recommendation by the committee adopted by the House was directed at ensuring a proper legislative framework to strengthen the National Broadcasting Commission capacity as a regulatory authority in the broadcasting industry in such a way to include the entire digital broadcast scope in the activities of the Commission. Therefore, the bill seeks to amend Section 1, Section 2, 5, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, and 26. And the third schedule of the Principal Act, as well as establishment a digital access fund in line with the global practice in digital broadcast. Specifically, Section 1 of the Principal Act is amended by creating the section into subsection 1A and 1B to expatiate the objective and scope of the Principal Act, respectively. Section 2 and principle of the Principal Act is to be amended by adding a new subsection 2A relative to the functions and power of the Commission in line with the digital broadcast regime. Section 5 of the Principal Act is to be amended by deleting the existing subsection 7 and 8 and replace them with a new subsection 7 and 8 over the condition attached with the appointment of the Secretary and Legal Advisor of the Commission. Section 9 of the Principal Act is to be amended by replacing the entire section with a new Section 9 and 9A on the Commission's power to grant licenses, permit authorization, and clarifications of the licenses under the new regime of the digital broadcast. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Section 11 of the Act is to amended in order to include signal distribution being an important chain in the digital broadcasting process in the categories of licenses under the authority of the National Broadcasting Commission, while Section 12 of the Act is to be amended by inserting Section 12A, 12B, 12.6, D, and 12E to accommodate the new different categories of licenses as expanded in the amendment of Section 11 of the Act at the condition for granting such by the Commission. Section 13 of the Act bordered on the conditions for renewal of the license is to be amended in order to accommodate new inclusion into the categories of license that will also require renewal and expiration. Section 14 is to be amended by giving a new life into the fund of the Commission, while Section 19 is to be amended with a view to encourage compliance, health, competitions, and fair play in the activities of the licensees and players in the broadcasting industry. In addition to this is the establishment of the administration of the Digital Access Fund in such a way to ensure all role development of the broadcasting industries Section 26 of the Act is amended with inclusion of the definitions of new keywords terms introduced in the bill. However, the third schedule of the Principal Act is amended with a view to protect public interest to confine with this Act. Finally, the essence of this amendment is to reposition the National Broadcasting Commission to be capable of an effective regulation of the ever-expanded broadcasting industry. Mr. Speaker, I will suggest that you call upon the sponsor of the second leg of the bill so that he can lead the debate on the second leg. I so submit.
Honorable Faleke, your own arguments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the second leg of this amendment is a bill that seeks to amend the third schedule of the National Broadcasting Commission Establishment Act, Cap N11 2004, by adding a subsection D immediately after subsection 7C, thereby providing that every television radio cable station provider shall have education programs on dedicated channels wherein students will be taught different subjects or courses in line with the school syllabus. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the amendment is sought towards addressing and improving the standard and quality of education in the country. It is an effort to tackle and salvage the falling standard of education, which is currently a national concern and embarrassment. Honorable colleagues, if amended, all television stations, radio service providers such as MultiChoice, DSTV, Star Times, NTA channels, TVC, and even state-owned television and radio stations will be legally compelled to dedicate one or more channels to teaching students in line with approved school syllabus or curriculum, while television or radio stations with single channels will have allotted airtime to also run educational programs every day of the week. It is expected that qualified teachers will be engaged by the service providers to teach our pupils. This bill is aimed at making a lot of difference to the lives of our students across the country, as it will enhance, encourage, and enrich learning for students. It will also boost intellectual development and knowledge of our students and keep them busy while at home or on holidays, instead of watching movies, Nollywood, sports, or music. It will educate, inform, and inspire students in practical teaching and can be effective than books in teaching. Students will be encouraged to be more focused on their academic work with less attention to watching cartoons and movies, which tend to be detrimental to the course of their educational pursuits. Honorable members, you will agree with me that this bill is coming at the right time, that our education standards is falling, and that what we can do is to enhance the standard of our education. When you go home and you see your children watching cartoon networks or movies, you ask yourself, what do they tend to get from this? But by compelling these channels, these TV providers, to have a dedicated channel, you can tell your child to switch on to the
honorable colleagues, order.
This, of course, we expect that the providers will engage teachers who will come online and teach students in mathematics, in all the subjects. And anybody who was unable to catch up at the class level can possibly catch up when these are being taught. This, in my view, is the best way to go at this time that our education standards are falling. Honorable colleagues, I seek your support for this amendment to stay true. Thank you, and God bless.
Honorable Chika Adamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abubakar Chika Adamu. I represent Shiroro Rafumaya Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I want to lend my weight, I want to put my weight towards this bill. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, what we witness today in our cable and TV programs are mostly programs that does not improve the morality of our children, not to talk of educating them on what they do in their various schools. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, 30 years ago, some of us will recall the famous Sesame Street. In Sesame Street, it was a program, I think, run by NTA, where children are being educated with educational programs such as ABCD and all other educational programs, including science teaching. You will see laboratory work at work in such kind of a program. But today, what we witness are mostly programs that does not improve even the morality of our children, not to talk of educating them or improving them when they come back from schools. Now, Mr. Speaker, for the TV programs, I believe the TV program, the TV stations should be able to include some hours or remove some hours, be it 1 hour, 2 hours, particularly in the evenings, so that our children, when they come back from school, having their siesta, after the siesta, they will look at programs on the television that will improve their academic standard. So also the cable stations, instead of, yes, I believe the children learn a little from the cartoons, but one thing about the cartoons, these are educational programs that sometimes are fake, because you see somebody will be attacked, he will not die. You can shoot somebody with a knife and that person will not die. And again, that is telling the child that yes, there is a world that one, if he's in that world, he will not die. And that is constituting a lot of danger on the way we bring up our children. But however, if the cable station will dedicate, out of probably, let's say they have about 30 stations, the cable TV should be able to dedicate one that will teach students, and this teaching could be categorized from 2 years, so time, 3 and above, so time, 5 and above in terms of primary school, so time, and even the secondary schools. I think if we have such stations, I think it will add value in terms of our education or the education of our children. And Mr. Speaker, I think I call on every member of this chamber to please lend his weight to this bill. This bill came at the right time when even the morality of our children is going down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues, for this opportunity.
Honorable Monguno.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. With regard to the aspect of the argument proposed by Chairman Information Committee, before I make my argument, I want to quote the saying of a very renowned jurist of blessed memory, Honorable Justice Uda Udoma, JSC, as he then was, who said in one of his judgments that laws are not meant to be static, that laws are supposed to be an organic document that are supposed to change with changing times. So in tandem with this renowned saying of this renowned jurist of blessed memory, I want to say that Honorable Chairman Committee on Information's argument is in tandem with the saying of Udo Udoma in that his judgment that laws are supposed to change to reflect the changing nature of society. When the National Broadcasting Commission law was enacted, the issue of digital switchover is not in reckoning. Now that the issue of digital switchover has come, there is a need for us to change our law so that it will reflect the present circumstance in the country. Because at the time that law was made, that area of broadcasting is virgin, is unexplored. But now that it has been made to be part and parcel of our laws, there is a need for a law to take care of that situation. And again, it is the recommendation of our committee that these areas for which digital broadcast has been introduced, there is a need for us to make laws to reflect the present changes in that sector. Then with regard to Honorable Palake's argument to have content with regard to education of our children, I think television is not only meant for information, it's meant for entertainment, and it's also meant for education. So that aspect should also be adequately taken care of by amending the National Broadcasting Commission Act, so that a lot of emphasis will be given to the issue of education of our children using the medium of television stations and radio stations, so that their education will be enhanced. I can recall with a lot of nostalgia this program, Sesame Street. When I was young, I used to watch Sesame Street, and it has greatly broadened my horizon in all aspects of life. And nowadays, we are missing this type of programs in our television content. So there is a need for us to make a law that will compel television stations to come up with these programs with a view to enhancing the learning capabilities of our children. Thank you.
Honorable Namdas.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abdurazak Namdas. I represent the people of Ganye, Jada, Tongoma, Ebalwa. I am from Adamawa State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also support this very important bill sponsored by my colleagues here. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that one of the roles of the NBC is to advise government on the implementation of national mass communication policy, with particular reference to broadcasting, as well as licensing both cable and direct-to-home services and terrestrial and radio and television services. And NBC is also expected to undertake research and development of broadcast industry. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that it is very important that our television stations should also dedicate educational programs as suggested by the mover of the motion. I want to say that in Nigeria, most of these stations hardly take on educational programs. Only few stations do take educational programs. Our children have taken to cartoons and other form of films that actually do not even take care of our curriculum. If our children will be given educational programs with particular curriculum on their schools, you find out that our children will highly be really educated. But my only question of worry is that according to the motion, according to the bill, that for the DSTV and startups, a whole station, a whole channel should be dedicated. I want to suggest that not all television stations can dedicate an entire channel to education programs. You have a channel like NTA, any other station, they can dedicate airtime and peak airtime, and it must not necessarily be daily, to be sincere, because from the bill, it suggests that a daily program should be meant for education programs. Even when my senior is talking about Sesame Street, I cannot say that Sesame Street was aired on a daily basis. We are going to give the stations a lot of problems. At least it should be done at least twice in a week, so that the content will be such that even the person organizing the program will know that I have 3 programs in a week, I have 4 programs in a week, but to make it daily may probably be challenging. But it is good that they should have airtime at least to dedicate education programs. But to make it daily could be a very challenging task. So I feel that we support this program and support the very bill that it should scale second reading. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable EJ.
My right honorable speaker and dear colleagues, I remain Honorable E.J. Agboanyima, representing the good people of Ego, Bubaka Federal Constituency, Edo State. Mr. Speaker, let me appreciate and thank the sponsor of this bill, a bill for an act to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act. Mr. Speaker, there's what we call CSR, Corporate and Social Responsibility, that this bill is about to address, or have already addressed. Mr. Speaker, most of the television stations and cable services in this country have failed to be responsible in at least thinking about Nigerian people. Yes, some of them are doing well, but there are some that have neglected that area in totality. And this bill, well programmed, in line with school, to be able to have some of the school syllabus, curriculum, to be able to be shown educative materials for our younger generation, our younger children. In another part of the world, Mr. Speaker, where I live, you will see at a particular time, either in the morning of Monday or Saturday, there's a program, educative program, that they show to educate our young ones. And again, there are some programs they can never air during the daytime because of children. That they believe that children watching some of these extreme movie, different movie that will not help, rather to bring negative to our children, they try to stay clear from that. But in Nigeria, you see all kind of programs being shown on various channels. And these are things that we shouldn't accept. And I'm happy this bill is here at the right time to solve some of these problems. I understand we have a lot of bills in this country, Mr. Speaker and dear colleagues. Our major problem is not passing bills or having bills. Our major problem is adhering, following the rule of law, obeying the existing bill. And I hope this one, when it is passed, we see the light of day and we will respect it, and the television station will also respect it, that whatever we are going to be shown on various television stations should not be the one that children, our children growing up, they should be able to learn something out of it, something educative, something that will give them value. Because as they are growing up, what they watch and see, that's what they believe in. Because those days we used to watch black and white television, even to watch TV then. Our parents used to tell us, no, you can't watch this. They will switch the television off. But these days, you see our children will run inside one of the rooms, on television, nobody to control them, because what is being shown is totally wrong. So, Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I can see that a lot of people are interested in this bill, that the bill must see the light of day, and I'm pleading and appealing to all of us to support this bill so that our children will benefit from watching television. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Honorable Chris, and then the last contributor will be Honorable Kanike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Chris Emeka Azubog. I represent Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Ekusigo Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to lend my support to the second reading of this bill, and I want to contribute to the fact that this bill tends to support the move to diversify our economy, support the move to ensure that our economy grows as a knowledge-based economy, because through the mass media or through the power that will be given to the regulator of our broadcasting corporation, he will be able to get the electronic media to ensure that the content that will be developed through our syllabi or through our educational curriculum will help us to educate a larger number of Nigerians. Those who cannot afford to be in school or those who are in locations that are very difficult can easily be organized to participate in educational programs. As a nation, we need to educate our citizens, and the knowledge that will be shared through the mass media or through the electronic media will enhance the educational level, the literacy level, and this is where we develop genuine capacity to grow our economy. I am supporting this bill because it will also help those who cannot afford to be in formal classes to get education. When the media, through their CSR, or even through sponsorship of corporate bodies, we embark on sponsoring educational programs. We used to enjoy science quiz. I'm an ardent believer in STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. A lot of quiz can go on, sponsored by individuals. And when children participate in it, it will develop our capacity to grow well-developed manpower and skilled manpower that will push us into real technological development. Whether it is in literary world, whether it is in classics, any content that is properly developed for education and is being projected through the mass media will help the citizenry. We have a record that over 30 million of Nigerian children are out of school, and we don't have all the resources to put them in school. Some due to difficult location, but everything that is aired can reach the most difficult part of the country. I'll take, for instance, the Northeast, where we've been having challenges of Boko Haram attack. A lot of children can, through mass media, whether electronic or television or radio, can easily get properly educated. So we are following the trend to utilize the privileges or advantages we will. And this law will seem to support or empower the regulator to compel the operators of this mass media for them to project educational programs that will help us to develop a well-balanced citizenry. I am supporting this bill, and I pray that my colleagues will support that this bill be read for a second time. I show support.
Honorable Kanike, last contributor.
My name is Abuja Konike Abubakar. I represent Ilorin East, Ilorin South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Kwara State. I want to lend my voice to the second reading of this bill. This bill cannot have come at a better time. We all know that there is a proliferation of the cable TV and television in Nigeria. The mass media has a better coverage. But what we do with this coverage is what is very important. We have an extended means of communication. If we compare the reach of cable TV and television now compared to when we were growing up, the reach is very far. And I see that a lot of Nigerians have access to cable TV. We must regulate what we disseminate on our cable television and our broadcasting televisions. Regulation is very important because if we do not regulate it more than ever before, rather than being a means of education and proper information, it will be a means of misinformation or teaching the bad to probably the underage and even the aged people. We need to make sure that the regulation is effective.
Television authorities live broadcast of events on the floor of the Green Chambers of the National Assembly. Right now, debate is on a bill for an act to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act, Chapter 11, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. The bill seeks to strengthen the commission and make it more effective to regulate broadcasting in Nigeria and to also ensure that all television and cable services run education programs in line with schools' syllabus and curricula. Now, the bill is being jointly sponsored by the Chairman House Committee on Information, Representative Olusegun Odebumi, and Representative James Abiodun Faleke. Members have been making contributions as the bill is up for second reading. But that's how far we can go on this edition of our live telecast from the National Assembly. We hope you will join us same time next week as we bring to you another live edition of activities on the floor. On behalf of all those that made this transmission possible, I am Lami Ali, thanking you for being with us and invite you to stay tuned as we go back to the studio for regular programming.